So let us begin altogether a new chapter, that's coordinate geometry. It's a very, very naya chapter for us, right? Now we are learning coordinate geometry, right? I asked you to rate yourself, and mostly the classes rating is around 5, around 6, which is better than what I expected. Because honestly, I thought कि उससे भी कम होगा, and a lot of people are learning coordinate geometry for the first time, is what I imagine. But it's good that a lot of you have context to it. But still, today's class we will keep a bit more basic because we need to develop strong hold on it, right? It must be a few years since you studied it the last time. So this can be a revision for somebody who's already good at it, and this can be a good introduction for someone who is doing this for the first time, right? And our motive is going to be, it's a little long. The PPT is a little big because I told you that I basics se padhane wali hu. So it's a little long. So we're going to try to be as quick as possible, given that our base is already strong, right? So what is coordinate geometry? Coordinate geometry is basically about locating a point, right? Using coordinates. What are coordinates like on Earth? We use coordinates like north, south, east, west. We tell latitudes and longitudes. If you ever see on Google Maps, right? Whenever you try to pinpoint a place, you will find a way of writing where they have written a coordinate in terms of latitude and longitude, how many degree east, how many degree north, south, west, whatever. So similarly, on a Cartesian plane is what? X and Y axis plane. The coordinates are written with x comma y way, right? That is what coordinate geometry is. Coordinate is basically a point, right? And through coordinate geometry, we learn to locate a point on a Cartesian plane. What is a Cartesian plane? What is a Cartesian plane? It's like this x and y axis thing, which we have seen earlier, right? This horizontal line is x-axis. This vertical line is y-axis. There are points. Here you have all, this is 0, 0, right? This is 0. And then here you have 1, 2, 3, all positive points. Here you have all negative points, -1, -2, -3, right? Similarly, on y-axis at the top, you have all equidistant points, and at the bottom as well, right? This is how Cartesian plane looks. How do you plot a point here? On this plane, you plot it as x comma y. You plot it as x comma y. X comma y is in, let's say, anywhere there's a point. Let's say this is a point. This is a point. This is where a point is, right? So how do you write this point A? This point A is x. At x, it is how much? It is 1. At y, it is how much? It is 4. So then this point A will be, it's a 3 lines dete hai na, to show it is 1, 4. This is how you locate a point on a Cartesian plane, right? Using x comma y coordinates. Fair? Itna, this much we know. And then there are 4 quadrants. What are 4 quadrants? Quadrant number 1, 2, 3, 4. You have 4 quadrants like this. First quadrant is positive, positive. X is also positive, y is also positive. Second quadrant mein x is negative, y is positive. Third quadrant mein they both are negative. And in fourth quadrant, you have x positive and y negative, right? So like this, we have 4 quadrants in a Cartesian plane. And any point is located with x comma y numbers, right? Aisa hota hai, right? Fair here, until here we are all cool. I don't think there's a big problem, right? So let us do a very basic question. Draw this Cartesian plane on your book and tell me, plot the points O, A, B, C, D. These points as per the coordinates that are given. Plot this point. Okay. So very clearly, O is origin. We call it as origin, right? We call this as origin. Where is the origin plotted? 0, 0. Where is 0, 0? It is here, right? X is also 0, y is also 0, right? This is your O. What is point A? Point A is 2, 3. Where is 2? It will always be x comma y. You will plot it on x-axis first and then on y-axis, right? So on x-axis, where is A? This is A. So here, and y-axis it is 3. So it will get plotted at the cross of these two. Okay, aise karke A2 and this is 3. This is the point where they both are getting intersected. Then where do you have B? B is at -4, -3. X is -4 and y is -3. This is the point B, right? What else you have? Point C, 2, -1. 2, positive 2 and -1 for y. Y ka -1. This is point C. And where is point D? -2, 3. -2 is here and 3 is positive to here, right? So this way we end up looking at 4 points, 5 points, 0, 0, O, A, B, C and D. We plotted 4 points accordingly. Fair? So this is how you locate a point on a Cartesian plane using the x comma y coordinates that are given to you. Okay. Next thing we look at is finding the distance between the plotted points. So where was your point A? Wait, let me just see. Your point A is 2, 3. And point A is 2, 3. Wait. So the question is, find the distance between the plotted points. Let's say I am plotting a point A here. Let me plot a point A here. So tell me what is the distance, and O is the origin. O is the origin. So what is the distance between point A and point O? What is the distance? Exactly, it is 2 units. Whatever, 2 units, right? It is 2 units. Then let's say I plot point B here. What is the distance between origin and point B? Okay, good, good. So how much is it? 4 units. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 units. Right? 1, 0, 1 ke beech mein this thing can represent 1 unit, right? This is 1 unit. 1 centimeter, 1 kilometer, whatever the unit is, we don't know, some unit, right? And the distance between 0 and O and point B is 4 units, right? So I plotted A on x-axis and you could easily find the distance. I plotted B on y-axis and you could easily find the distance. But let's say I plot point C here. Point C is minus 3, 3. So what is the distance between origin and point C? How will you find the distance? The distance will be this much, right? How will you find this distance? So this is where formula of distance comes into picture. How do you find the distance? How do you find distance between 2 points? So distance between 2 points, right now I'll again plot the point that is concerned. Black set perfume. Right? So the way to find out point is to understand a very basic thing, and that is your Pythagoras theorem. Your Pythagoras theorem will clearly help. I'll tell you how. So how is Pythagoras theorem going to help here? We basically realize that at the end it is a hypotenuse to a triangle. Is it or not? It is, right? This distance between origin and point C is a hypotenuse, right? What is the base? The base is 3. What is the height? What is the base? The base is 3. What is the height? The height is also 3, right? So what is this distance going to be? This distance is going to be under root of base square plus height square. Yes or no? Yes? Give me thumbs ups, right? This is how it is going to be. How did this distance come? This distance came from understanding that we found the distance between x, both the x's. Here the x was 0, here the x was minus 3. So you'll be like x1 minus x2 you get between 2 points. And for y also you did the same thing. Put square and put square, right? This 3 came because the distance in x-axis was 3. This 3 came because distance between 2 y points was also 3. And uska under root liya, so you got the distance. And that is where the formula for distance between any 2 random point comes from. The distance between any 2 points, if the point is x1, y1 and x2, y2, the distance between these 2 points is given as under root of x1 minus x2 whole square plus y1 minus y2 whole square. This is the Samajh gaye? Understand the logic behind this? Yes, very good. So this is the formula you're going to remember. First formula, there are going to be a lot of formulae in this chapter. You're going to make really good, pretty notes on this specific chapter and make sure that you remember all of it. Okay? So this is the first formula, right? Let us apply it. Find the distance between point C and origin accordingly. Point C, we had plotted. Let me change point C now. Let me change it and keep it somewhere else. I will keep point C here. How many units is it? You know, distance is equal to under root of, what are these points? One point is 2, 4, other point is 0, 0. So x1 minus x2, that is 2 minus 0 square, plus y1 minus y2 whole square ka under root. This is y1 minus y2 is 0. This is under root of 4 plus 16, which is under root 20. It's under root 20, that is 2 root 5. How do we find it? Under root 20 is 4 5s are. 4 बाहर निकल जाता है under root के, it becomes 2. So it is 2 root 5. So what is the distance between point C and origin? It's 2 root 5. Clarity on this bit? I'll beautify it because we'll see this as notes, no? I'll upload it on the portal, right? Okay. Now similarly, find the distance between point C and D. I'll give you point C and D. Let's say point C is here. This is point C and this is point D. Find the distance between point C and point D. इनके बीच का distance. Find out distance between point C and point D. Very good. How do we find first? Let us plot what are the coordinates of point C? -3, 2. Always go x, y. Never y, x. Always x, y. X is -3, y is 2. यहाँ पे x is -1. Sorry, x is 4. Y is -1. Right? So x1, x2, what do we have? x1, y1, x2, y2. We have 2 points. -3, 2 and 4, -1. So here the distance D is going to be x1 minus x2 square plus y1 minus y2 square. Right? You can take one x1, x2, anything. ऐसा नहीं है कि this has to be 1, this has to be 2. Interchange it. Any which ways it is going to be squared, so negative sign won't matter. So this is -3 minus 4 whole square plus 2 minus -1 is +1 whole square. So this becomes 7 square, 49 plus 3 square. Plus 3 square, 9, which is how much? 58. This is root 58. Right? This is root 58. Fair? Alright? No confusions here. So this was the first application of finding distance using distance formula. We call this as a distance formula. This is a distance formula. So you should be completely aware about this one thing. So this is the first primary formula. Now the next thing is a point dividing a line in 2 sections. So let's say you're given a point. Let's say you're given a certain point. Right? You're given a certain point. This is a line AB with some x1, y1, x2, y2 coordinates. And there's some point P which you know is dividing this line segment in some ratio m:n. Right? In some ratio it is dividing. So how do you find the coordinates of this point? If A and B is given to you and they ask you to find the point that is dividing this segment AB in a certain ratio. So how do you find the points? So basically the way to do it is to understand that we are saying that the distance between these 2 points divided by the distance between these 2 points is m by n, right? So what is the distance between these 2 points? It is if we are considering this is a straight line, ठीक है? एक straight line करते हैं, सिर्फ x axis का distance देखते हैं. X axis distance. So x axis distance is how much between A and P? It is x minus x1. Right? And how much is the distance between B and P? It is x minus x2. Right? And this is m by n. And we will have to take it in some direction, right? So if we are taking this direction, so it will be x minus x1 आया ना, यहाँ पे x2 minus x लिखना पड़ेगा. है ना? एक direction में x2 minus x and x minus x1 is m by n. If you simplify this, what comes? It comes nx minus nx1 is equal to mx2 minus mx. Right? Right? So if you transfer it all here, it becomes mx plus nx is equal to mx2 plus nx1. So x becomes x into m plus n. Pardon. See, x यहाँ पे common आ सकता है, right? So this x will be common. It will be equal to mx2 plus nx1 divided by m plus n. Yes or no? Did we get this? We got this by understanding the distances only. Similarly, you can do it using y-axis as well. So this is where the formula of this point will come. अगर x ऐसा है तो इसी से हमें मिल जाता है. Y is also like that. है ना? m y2 and n y1. Crisscross. ठीक है? Interchange. That's the pattern. There's a trick to remember, but the concept is this. And a trick to remember एक चीज हो गई. Concept is this. This will be m y2 plus n y1 upon m plus n, right? So this is how you get the coordinates x and y, right? The x and y coordinates of this point P are given by this formula, and this formula we call as a section formula. So there are two types of divisions that happen, internal and external division. Internal division means if this is a point AB with same that we just drew x1, y1, x2, y2, and there's a point P, x comma y, which is dividing it into the ratio of m is to n. What do? We say x is equal to mx2, क्योंकि ये m है तो उसके opposite x2 है ना, mx2 plus nx1 upon m plus n, and y is also equal to my2 plus ny1 upon m plus n. So this is how we are able to get x comma y coordinates of a point that is dividing segment A comma B internally in the ratio m is to n. Basically, there is this external division. What is external division? External division is, let's say there is this point A comma B, same are A and B, which we just do. And now x1, y1, x2 comma y2, and some point P is externally dividing it. Externally dividing it in the ratio m is to n. मतलब ये m है और ये n है, right? External division. P to A is m, P to B is n. यहाँ पे internal division था, यहाँ पे external division है. So उस समय पे also same formula, just that we get minus here. So this becomes x is equal to mx2 minus nx1 upon m minus n, and y is my2 minus ny1 upon m minus n. So this is a section formula to get the point which is dividing a segment in a certain ratio. Right? Clarity on this, let us apply it. If you have noted this, note this quickly and we will apply it. How do you solve this? Again, it is the same points that we have been dealing with. A and B is externally divided this time. So let me plot B here. A is 2, 3. This is minus 4, minus 3. And there is this point P, which is x, y. It is externally dividing it in the ratio 3:4. तो उल्टा है, मतलब यहाँ पे होगा point P, है ना? Point P उधर होगा, इसलिए 3:4 है ना? Because basically A is closer. 3:4 में A is closer, right? So x, y. This is 3, while this is 4. This is how the division is happening. So if this is how the division is happening, we get x is equal to, right? We get x is equal to, again, m into minus 4 minus n is 4 into 2 divided by 3 minus 2. How much is this? Minus 12 minus 8 by 1, which is minus 20. And y is what? Y is 3 into minus 3 minus 4 into 3 divided by 3 minus 2, which is 9 minus 12 by 1, which is minus 21. So what is x, y? The coordinates of point P is equal to minus 20 by minus 21. So this is the point which is dividing A, B in this ratio. Right? 3 minus 2 नहीं है, 3 minus 4 है. I'm really sorry. This will be 3 minus 4. Why? Because it is 3:4, right? I was taking the 2 number from previously, but this is 4. This will be minus 1 here. So this will become 20 and 21. है ना? Understood? Any confusions? Clarity? Right? External division को imagine करना बहुत जरूरी होता है correctly. Give me a thumbs up if you have understood this. और कोई confuse नहीं हुआ ना मेरे ये 2 वाला? I just took the number incorrectly ना. This is 4, not 2. So still to be taken as 4. Fair? All right? Cool. So this much is done. Now let us move next. Next comes midpoint formula. So until now, what we were doing is we were finding this point P, which is internally dividing midpoint, so internally होता है, dividing it in certain ratio m is to n. But the moment you find a midpoint, x1, y1, x2, y2, and the moment you find a midpoint m, right? This is a special case of section formula where the ratio of division is 1:1. Where the ratio of division is 1:1. So m also becomes 1, n also becomes 1. And if you put the internal division formula here, what you'll get? You'll get x, y is equal to x1 plus x2 by 2, comma y1 plus y2 by 2. करो तो इंटरनल डिविजन का फॉर्मूला करो, तो इसको इंटरनल डिविजन का फॉर्मूला अप्लाई करके देखो। इंटरनल डिवाइड ही हो रहा है, बस n/n नहीं 1:1 रेशियो में हो रहा है। व्हाट डू यू गेट एज x, व्हाट डू यू गेट एज y? वेरी गुड, है ना, आ गया ना? कैसे आया? x कितना आया तुम्हारा? व्हाट इज x? x क्या आया? व्हाट इज x? x is x1 plus x2 by 2. What is y? y1 plus y2 by 2. तो मिड पॉइंट में सीधा सीधा ऐसे एवरेज वैल्यू आ जाती है। ठीक है, दिस इज मिड पॉइंट थ्योरम। सेक्शन फॉर्मूला हो गया और ये मिड पॉइंट फॉर्मूला हो गया कि मिड पॉइंट है सीधा सीधा लाइक दिस। ओके, सो लेट अस डायरेक्टली अप्लाई। फाइंड द मिड पॉइंट ऑफ अ सेगमेंट AB where A is 2, 3 and B is -4, -3. यस, कैसे होगा मिड पॉइंट? मैंने पता आइडियली ए इधर ड्रॉ करना चाहिए और बी इधर, क्योंकि ये पॉजिटिव है और ये दोनों नेगेटिव है ना? बट बिकॉज हम कार्टेशियन प्लेन पे ड्रॉ नहीं कर रहे तो मैं किधर भी डालू एक ही बात हुई। बट एनीवेज, व्हाट इज द मिड पॉइंट? x will be basically 2 plus -4, that is 2 minus 4 divided by 2, that is -2 divided by 2, that is -1. And what is y? Y is -3 plus 3 divided by 2, which is 0. So at what point midpoint इसका क्या है? Midpoint है x, y, which is basically -1, -0, -1, 0 पे ये बीच में कट हो। फिर ओके फुल। चलो अब नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन, फाइंड द डिस्टेंस बिटवीन द मिड पॉइंट्स ऑफ सेगमेंट ए बी एंड सी डी। ये करो, फाइंड द डिस्टेंस बिटवीन मिड पॉइंट्स ऑफ दीज सेगमेंट्स। How do we solve this one? We first find midpoints. What is the midpoint here? What is the midpoint here? You find the midpoint 2 minus, अभी निकाला था वैसे हमने, so it was -1, 0. What is the midpoint here? 0, -1 plus 2, 0, 1 है, right? Right? Then what is the distance d? D is under root of x1 minus x2 whole square plus y1 minus y2 whole square, which is basically 1 square plus 1 square, which is equals to root. What is the distance between the midpoints of these two lines? It is root. Okay, fair. Rene, Vidhi, are we getting it? No responses. There's fair share of silence. So I just want to guess. Vidhi? Yes, very good. Easy, right? So till this point, we cover the entire basic of our points. You know, coordinate points now. Points of how to plot a point, how to find the distance between two points, how to find the point which is dividing this point in different segments, different sections externally and internally, and at the same time the midpoint. After this, after point के बाद क्या आता है? What comes after point? Line, right? So we are going to understand the line now, right? What is line? Line is a collection of lot of points put together. You put lot of points together and you get a line. Right? Now the thing is, if you're given any 2 points, you can get a line out of it. Any 2 points randomly are given, A, B. A line passes through it, right? Then there's a point C, random C. So then from A and C also line will pass. And from B and C also line will pass, right? And then there's a point D. So you take a third point D. So one line will pass from A and D as a combination. One line will pass from B and D as a combination. One line will pass from C and D as a combination, right? So on and so forth. This is limitless, right? But it's just basically 2 points. If you get minimum any 2 points, you can make a line out of it, right? Now every line has something called we call as a slope. What is a slope? What is a slope? Let's say I take x and y axis, right? And I plot a line like this, right? So this is a slope, like a slide, right? This is a slope, right? Now the slope has a value. How do you find the value of slope? Simply by taking some section. Let's say this is the section we have taken. ठीक है, ये दो points है जिसके थ्रू ये line जा रही है. Okay, line is going through 2 points, x1, x2, y1, y2. So when you do that, you get slope. Basically यहाँ पे थोड़ी trigonometry use होती है. Trigonometry use होती है because tan theta का formula लगता है to find out that slope. Slope is basically the angle that this line is forming with x-axis. The slope is basically the angle that this line is forming with x-axis. So the way to find it is, the way to find slope basically is, the slope tells you that how steep is the line. If line is like super steep और थोड़ा सा gentle है, steep मतलब एकदम ये तो सीधी line हो गई, इसका तो undefined slope है. But ऐसा है तो steep ना, you go and फट से तुम नीचे आ जाओ. This is all less steep. This now here it gets smooth, and smooth होते होते ये हो गई plane. Now there is no slope. This is infinite slope, sort of undefined slope to zero slope, right? So if you take any 2 points on the line, let's say this point is x1, y1, and this point is x2, y2. The slope of a line is defined by the letter m, and m is given as y2 minus y1 upon x2 minus x1, right? y2 minus y1, the pencils are flickering. The slope is given as y2 minus y1 upon x2 minus x1. This is what the formula for slope is. Must know. Fair. अब क्या होता है ना, there are 4 types of slopes. I'll just draw like 4 small Cartesian planes, x and y axis. This is a positive slope. Here you will get value of m as greater than 0, some positive number, right? While this is a negative slope. Here you will get value of m as less than 0. If line is like this, here you will get, there's a 0 slope. M will be equal to 0. And if you get a straight line, here m is undefined. It's a lot of infinity sorts, right? Why? Because here you will have y ka value. Here you will have y ka value same. X ka value will be different for any 2 points. Y will be same, right? So numerator will be 0. And here x will be same, right? If you take random 2 points, the value of x for these 2 points will be same. So denominator will be 0. Denominator is 0 is not defined. That is why. So these are the 4 types of slope that you get. And this is what slope is. Fair? Now using this, let us solve the question. Find the slope of the line. There are 2 lines given to you. A line that connects AB and a line that connects CD. Find the slope of these lines. y2 minus y1, that is 3 minus 3, that is 3 plus 3, and x2 minus x1, that is 2 plus 4 here, right? Which becomes 6 by 6. The slope is 1. Fair? Versus this. Here m is what? M-A, this is line B, is y2 minus y1 upon x2 minus x1. In any sequence you can take it. The slope is minus 1. Positive and negative slope, let us confirm this with our rough Cartesian plane also. ठीक है, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, minus 1, minus 2, minus 4. I'm trying to keep it as symmetric as possible. Here you plot A as 2, 3, which is here, and you plot B as minus 4, minus 3. Minus 4 is on x-axis, minus 3 here. So see, do you see this line AB? The slope is positive. We just talked. And if we look at 2 minus 1, which is point C, 2 minus 1, and point D, which is minus 2, 3 here. See, this is the line. Here the slope is negative, correctly. Aa gaya na answer hamara, right? So this is how you get the value of slope. Clarity.